Hi everybody, this is Cindy from Ideas Times 2. Welcome back to our channel. Today I'm working on some finishing touches on some grungy journals that I'm working on. I hope to get them done in the next couple of days, and I just need to get a few small things in there, maybe some cards or tags or pockets or whatever. And I thought I would use some time cards today, so that's what we are going to be doing. Maybe this is kind of a tutorial, kind of a craft with me, kind of just some idea shares. About 6 months ago, I bought a box of time cards on Amazon, and I don't even remember how many came in the box, but I recently opened the box and was kind of shocked by how many time cards I had and realized I just haven't been using them. So I thought that I needed to kind of use up what I have in the box, and I put some in our Etsy shop if anybody's interested in buying some and not winding up with a box of thousands like I seem to have done. So these time cards are a really nice size. They are 8 1/4 inches long, 3 1/4 inches wide, and they are a nice sturdy cardstock, and so they can be used for a lot of things. They can be used as cardstock if you just need something to cover, if you're making a belly band or like a nice side tuck or something. These are perfect, and you can completely cover them. I kind of like the idea though of having their purpose visible. So I want them to still look like time cards, and even though they'll be obviously used for something else. So I just grabbed a small stack of time cards, and then took a bunch of stuff out of my stash box, and I have a little bit of everything in here. I have some lace, doilies, some coffee stained paper, some digital scraps, piano paper, some coffee stained tracing paper scraps, and just all sorts of stuff in there, some book pages. And I thought I would use stuff from there, and maybe start with a pocket. So because these are so tall, 9 inches, they really give you a lot of room to work with, and I like the green side better. So this is the front. This is the front, and it's got lots of blank space over here, and I really like this green. The back is red, and this is what the back looks like. And so I'm going to have the green side in the front, and I thought I would make something kind of like a library pocket. So I'm just going to fold this up to I don't know, probably about here. Don't know how many inches that is. 2.5? About 2.5 inches to make a pocket. Using the bone folder, I'll give that a nice press. And so that's about the right size for a library pocket. I'm going to round the corners here on the top, but I'm going to leave the pocket square, and I'm going to put a thumb tab here. When I do thumb tabs, I always do this upside down so I can see what I'm doing. And so it'll be something like this. And because this is for a grungy journal, I'm going to ink up the sides, and I'm going to do it folded because this here doesn't need to be inked. I'm just going to go all the way around. And then make sure I get the thumb tab here really well. And so a really simple pocket. If you are not a sewer, don't have a sewing machine, don't like the sewed look, you can, just put a bead of glue here and a bead of glue here and fold it over, and your pocket will be done. I am going to sew, since this is for a grungy style journal, I'm going to sew and then maybe do a collage down here on the bottom. So I'm going to sew this up and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back, and I just did a straight stitch all the way around, leaving, of course, this open for a pocket. And I think this needs some kind of a collage here. But before I put the collage on, I'm going to give this a spritz of Distress Spray Stain Walnut color. And this doesn't take too long to dry. And so you can see I grunged it up a little bit. Got some glare on there, but you can see not too grungy. Didn't cover everything because I want it still to look like a time card, but grunged it up just enough for a grungy journal. And I always do I always use this after I've sewn. I don't like to sew once it's been sprayed. And because I sprayed it, I didn't coffee stain it or anything. I think that between the ink and the spray stain, it's grungy enough. And it just will take a minute or two to dry. So while that's drying, I'm going to use another time card to make some journaling cards. So like I said, it's 8.5 or 8.25 inches tall. So I'm going to cut this at 4 1/8, and that gives me 2 perfectly sized journaling cards. One I'm going to leave that size. This one I'm going to trim down a little bit more so that it will fit into the pocket that I just made. So you can see I need to cut off maybe 1/4 inch. So, and I'm going to take it off of the side with the lines on it so I can leave that open. I think this cut a little crooked. All right. So I'm going to double check before I start collaging on it or anything. Make sure it's the right size. I think that'll be perfect. And I want this to have rounded corners as well. So I'm going to round the corners. And I'm going to ink the edges. Yeah, the cardstock on these time cards is really nice. It's a good weight. It sews really well and is sturdy enough to be able to use for cards without having to layer or anything like that. And for tags, it's a nice weight. I'm not sure what the weight is, but it's really a nice weight. All right, so now that's the base for my card. And I'm going to use stuff that I have over here. I think I'm going to use a book page. This is from a pretty old book. Actually, a very old book. I used the cover for for a journal that I made a while ago. And now I'm using the insides. The paper is just got a lovely texture. So I think I'm just going to put a little bit of paper on there. Ink it up, of course. And I'm just using Tim Holtz Distress ink. And I think this might be, not sure what the color is. Gathered Twigs is the color. I use Vintage Photo quite often. And I'll have to do this, ink this side over again. I wasn't really thinking. And I'm just going to glue that down with Fabri-Tac. And I'm going to trim off the edge there. And I did not put glue all the way to the side, although I still have to cut some glue off. And then got to re-ink the side because I wasn't thinking when I put that on there. And I need this. These are for botanical journals. So I'm going to see what I have in my stack of scraps here for some botanical goodness. Let's see. I don't know, maybe something a little taller like this one. My box of scraps is getting huge. I need to be better about going to the scraps for making collages and things like that. My box is crazy. I need to organize it a little better. That should be my next few projects. I should use nothing but stuff from the scrap box. I probably could do quite a few projects with just things from my scrap box. So, a little botanical on there, and I think maybe I'll put a label down in the corner. When I collage, I have a tendency to use odd numbers, 2 or 3 or 5 things are generally my go-tos. And so I've got book page, I've got a botanical, and let me grab a tag or a label. Maybe a little one. The labels, these are Tracy Fox, and they're plain and simple labels, and it's a 3-page digital. You can find on her Etsy, in her Etsy shop. It's called Love Junk Journals, and she has a full page of brown, and then a full page of black, and then also a half page of red and a half page of green. And I use them all the time. In fact, as I use them so often, I had to print new brown ones. And a lot of times I just leave them blank. but I also have some letter stamps and a date stamp. I bought the date stamp to use at work. I think I'll put that up in the top. And then never did use it at work, and so I brought it home to use in journals. I wish I could find an old one that had like really old years, but the ones I found are so expensive that I haven't bitten the bullet yet to buy one. I'm just making do with what I have. And the one I have, I think, was like a Martha Stewart that I bought at Michael's. And it was on sale, 50% off. And it's still actually good for another few years. It's, I think maybe 20, 23, 24. The numbers go up to. There. Just a simple card. I don't think I'm going to sew this. But because this is so white, I might. No, I don't think I'm going to spritz it, but I think I'm going to do a little bit more ink. Give it a little bit more age. And see, that just fits right in the pocket. And I kind of like that just the way it is, but I think I'm going to do a little bit of a collage. Let's see. I've got some of these little scraps from some digital papers. That I think would be a good start, a good base for a collage. Let's see, start with something like that. And I have these little cards. They're called Notes of Nature. And they are really tiny, as you can see. And they are really good in collages and snippets and things like that. So I think I'm going to round the corners on this as well, but I'm going to use the little tiny curve on that. Give it a little grunge. And it needs one more thing, another texture. Maybe a little bit of fabric. Thought I had a little tiny piece of muslin. Well, we'll go ahead and use this. And that needs a little more roughing up. Maybe something like that. I don't want anything too big. I don't want it to compete with what's already on the page. But I like doing small collages on pockets and things and envelopes because it adds a texture and a layer, visual interest to the pages. So start with the little print down there on the bottom, a little bit of text. sure get a little bit of glue on the fabric. And put that right there. So that didn't take too long, and a little different than having another library pocket or just another cardstock pocket, which is, you know, I don't know about you, but when I'm crafting, sometimes I kind of get in a rut. I forget all of the different tools even that I have, because I get so used to making, you know, a belly band and then a vertical belly band and then a tuck spot and then a side tuck, and, you know, and just they all become kind of rote. And so I thought it'd be fun to try something I hadn't done in a while. So we have a little library card made from a time card with a card inside. I need to glue this down just a little bit. It keeps getting caught. There we go. Just a dab of glue on there. So that's one idea you can do. Obviously, you know, since it's a nice cardstock, you can cut them and round them to different size journaling cards or, you know, ATCs or whatever. So that's another idea. They're also a good size to make tags from. And of course, because they're 8 1/4 inches tall, you can make them virtually any size. So I cut this one down to 6 inches, and then I made this with oh no, I use everything. So I'm not sure which one this came from, but here's a good perfect size for a tag. And so you know, you could do the same thing, just a simple collage. You know, layering some papers over the top. So it's technically third idea. We've got the card. It's idea 1. The card is idea 1. The envelope, or pocket, not envelope. The pocket and the card, that's ideas 1 and 2. A tag is idea 3. And I'm sure I'm going to have to trim that down. I'm going to have to oh, maybe not. I think I'll put something like that. And then layer a botanical over the top, since that's my theme. And we will do, let's see, what else do I have in here for botanicals? I might even do more than one on here, but I'm going to start with this one, I think. Using up these book pages. I thought, in fact, I'd used all of this one, but it turns out I had a few more pages I had taken out of the book, and they were in my scrap box, which is obviously in desperate need of cleaning if I'm finding things I didn't even know I had. Trim that down on the bottom. And give it a little swish of ink. And I'm not going to glue that down, but you can see, obviously, you don't need to watch me make another tag, but these make really nice tags. You can add, which I probably will for this one, add a little bit of coffee stained paper on there, just add some to the back. So that the owner of the journal will have a place to write. And for this one, I might sew around the edges, and maybe sew around here. I'll have to think on that, but this is idea 3. So a card, a pocket, tags, and I'm going to put that to the side. Another idea that I had is this really cute little trifold, and this is my kind of my prototype. I wasn't sure quite what I wanted to do, but you can see I took a standard time card, and I folded it into thirds-ish. The bottom third is actually a little bigger than the top third, so I folded it up 2 3/4 inches from the bottom. Give that a nice flattening, and then the next third from the top, just kind of eyeball that. It looks like about 2 inches from the top, so that it folds this way. And I'm going to round the edges. And ink it up, give it a little grunge, especially at the folds. And because I'm going to glue this down, I'm not going to worry about inking the back where it's going to be glued, but have this little folder like this. On the inside, what I did was actually the first thing I did was to put a little collage here, and then I added a button and string closure, as you can see, and I used my crocodile to put an eyelet there in the middle, and the string I just used my awl, poked a hole through, threaded this through and knotted it, and that's what I used that little end piece for my tag. I made a pocket, and inside the pocket I put 3 little cards, and the knot is in there, which is why I covered it up. And then in the center piece I put another pocket and a little tag. You can see I used a more time card in there, and just close it up like this. And I'm going to be putting it in the back cover of the journal, so I'm going to glue this side down. If you want to, you could just glue around the 3 sides and leave a pocket here on the top, and then you could have another little tag sticking out there, as well as one from the side. But this one I don't plan on doing that. I'm going to glue the whole thing down in the back. So we are about out of time. My computer doesn't like to do videos of more than 35 minutes. But I just wanted to give you some ideas of things you could do using time cards. So I have made a couple of library cards here with sewn around the edges, and then tags on the or cards on the inside. So that's one idea. well, technically two ideas. Tags of varying size, and this one I'll finish up here in just a minute. And this cute little folder, tri-fold folder. These are the perfect size for doing these little projects. You could even make this into a notebook, like open it up and sew a little notebook in here. So lots of things you can do using time cards. Like I said, I put some in our Etsy shop because I didn't realize how many I had, and I don't think in a lifetime I'll be able to use all that I have. And they're just a couple dollars, $3.50-ish. So if you want to give some crafts, some of these little projects a try, using time cards, that'd be awesome. You send pictures or post them on our Facebook page. That would be awesome. I'd like to see what everybody else is doing. This is what I've been up to today. Making kind of bulk making tags and pockets and cards from time cards. So that's it for today, and I hope you give these ideas a try, and I'll be back with you later this week. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. We love to hear from our subscribers, so leave a comment and subscribe to our, join our YouTube page or our Facebook page. We would love to have you join us. We just started a Facebook page, and thanks for joining me today in my desk that has gotten messier as I've been working today. So have a fantastic week, and I will see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.